Welcome to SML Total Access, where we break down news, predictions, and more in our Madden League. Now, let's get fired up for SML football.
Hello and welcome to the longest running show on the connective franchise universe, SML Total Access. I'm Primetime 000, joined by Matt and Dan. How you guys doing today?
We're back.
Doing good. Hey guys, guess what? All three of us here have played in the Super Bowl this cycle. Isn't that exciting? That is awesome, guys. All three of us. Yay, us.
We are amazing.
Sorry.
We are amazing.
Sorry.
What's our record in the Super Bowl?
We made 3 Super Bowls, Matt. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters.
There you go. That's Dan who we'll talk about that in a second, actually. First down, season 70 recap. Dan did make the Super Bowl. He was close. No cigar. Matt, I guess we'll start with you maybe. What's your thoughts on season 70?
Yeah, I thought season 70 was fun. I mean, the AFC had a little bit of I don't know what the word I'm looking for, suspense with, QP leaving and his replacement losing every single game that he came, and it kind of shifted kind of the balance of the power there in the AFC. And then honestly, in the NFC, I think I know the story was Mike FML making the playoffs. Unfortunately, losing his superstar quarterback on like the next to last play of his season when the game was pretty much over. I think he took a sack or something, and Bean went out and he put up a heck of a fight against Stavo in the wild card round. But I love when that kind of stuff happens where someone like Mike, who, he's always been 500 Mike. We've always called him that, the old 8-8 guy, kind of fallen back from that, but then made a nice run with an explosive offense. I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, the cream always rises to the top, as the Macho Man once said to Mean Gene Oakland. So for me, it's before we get to the top, that just those bottom layers and the fun little storylines that we have, like a Mike FML making the playoffs, or like a Damon making the 1 seed. I think those little stories are fun to look at.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to mention Damon too, getting the 1 seed. That hey, for whatever it's worth, and playoffs really what matters. But to get the 1 seed in the AFC, that's not easy, and great accomplishment for his first full cycle here in the SML. We'll talk more about Stavo here in a little bit, but even Stavo's kind of redemption tour, kind of losing a heartbreak Super Bowl and then coming back and winning one. That's a great story. Two classic AFC games, me and Bomber going overtime, then me and Prime going overtime. I mean, those are kind of the games you remember throughout cycles, and just kind of just the suspense and the time that it mattered. And so you had all those things going on. And to me, again, that's what makes a great season, the storylines, and keep us entertained for as long as it did.
Yeah, I thought it was just a fun season overall. Like you guys said, NFC, the Mike run was good. Got to see Trick in the playoffs. Just some guys who hadn't made it before. And Dan had alluded to his run. Man, if he would have won a Sembardi, that would have been one of probably the most. I mean, a guy would have had a heart attack if he pulled that run off, because I think he was driving to get in overtime. So just a lot of fun games. I guess my one question mark that after all the smoke settled was KP. Like, I thought entering season 70 he was going to be the guy to slay Stavo, and we'll talk about that in a second. But KP really, really, really just laid an egg against the Rams, and I'm kind of questioning where he goes from here. But it was a good season overall. Missed the playoffs. That was fun to watch. Just a great season overall. We'll move on. Second down, Madden 25. And somebody brought this up, and I thought it was a great idea. Is this the best gameplay we've had ever in Madden? Or since at least, I don't know, in the last 10 years? Dan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I was thinking about this myself the other day, and we give Madden a lot of crap and stuff, but when I'm thinking about this cycle and the actual gameplay, sure, there's hiccups, field goal blocks, whatever, random pass rush, broken tackles, things like that. It's not perfect. I'm not trying to say there aren't flaws, but when you look at it from top to bottom, the fact that you can run the ball to win, you can pass the ball to win. You can play man defense to win. You can play zone defense to win. You can play match defense to win. You can win in a lot of different ways this Madden. There's not a ton of OP abilities. Inside stuff's great. Step feet lead's great. There's some other stuff that are great, but they're not really OP or dominant. It honestly, right now, it feels like probably the best Madden in the last 10 years. And I think we gotta give it its credit. And as long as, again, it can stay with, you can win in a lot of different ways. Not everyone plays the same way. I think we're set up for a great second half of the cycle run here that'll keep us entertained. So let's give Madden its credit. I think this might be the best gameplay in the last 10 years.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's a bad game. Every time they introduce a new physics thing, what is it called, boom tech or whatever, anytime they do that, it makes weird animations. I mean, look at what happened to me in the Dan game. I mean, I hit stick his guy, he bounces off, gets his momentum, and he's gone. No one even goes for the tackle. Like, you'll see a lot of this. Watch the games. Like, in every game, you're going to see some weird physics thing based off a hit stick. It's just stuff is weird. That's kind of annoying. On the flip side, though, there are some really cool tackle animations in this game, like especially double team tackles, where like one guy has him high and another guy, or low, and another guy comes in high. They look really good. I like Dan's point. I actually see a lot of guys running man. I can't run it. I don't understand what they're doing. They must be making adjustments that I don't understand. But guys are winning that way. Mike FML plays a lot of man defense and made the playoffs. So I agree. Where I really struggle with this game, the flats. Last year, so let me give you an example. There's a play out of bunch. Dan just ran it versus me. Damon runs it. A lot of guys run it. It's been ran forever. It's called dig return. It's out of bunch. One of the guys in the bunch runs a zig route. Okay, if you called cover 2 hard flat in the past, the corner on the side of the zig, it's an interception every time. Now he doesn't get over there fast enough, so he makes the tackle, but not in enough time to knock it out, and it's not a pick. You literally can't do anything. That's the right defense to call. You can't call man because it's a zig. If you call regular cover 2, it's a cloud flat. He's not going to come over there because it's not in the flat. So that's kind of frustrating. The yellow zones against trips, like if you watch a yellow zone against trips, the yellow zone on the trip side will go all the way out to the sideline against trips, leaves the middle of the field wide open, which you have to man cover with one guy. So there's some issues with the game. I think it's a good game. I still think, was it Madden 23 or last year that had the consistent pass rush? That was the best Madden gameplay ever. It comes down to the pass rush. Football is won in the trenches. Madden is better when there is a pass rush. This game, it's a coin flip. I'm not saying if you have a really good defensive line, you should always have a pass rush, because that doesn't happen in the NFL either. But it should be a little bit more consistent, where I feel like it wasn't just decided before the game whether I'm going to get pressure or not.
Let me push back on you, because I'll tell you how to stop those plays after this call. Anyways, you're also forgetting some of those pass rush games. All they turned into was run fests, and all they do, everyone just decided to run, and we were having ratio issues where guys were only thrown 8 times. So I think the fact that we have ratio issues now and it's more pass oriented, but that's only by choice. And now you can do both of them, I think, is what makes this one better than some of the past ones.
Matt, do you wish to rebuttal, or are you content with?
No, we have ratio issues because the defense is not smart. That's why everybody can throw a drag route. Stavo just won a Super Bowl throwing drag routes. There's just no flat defense coverage, so that's why everyone's passing.
Let me defend Stavo real quick. Stavo, he only threw 120 yards. He didn't win because of drag routes. He won because he played good defense.
I beat Stavo by like 40 because I knew what he was going to do. I mean, you should have just talked to me before the game, but it took a lot of effort.
I took Stavo down in the Super Bowl 4th and 16. I had a beautiful pass over his user. We'll talk about that on April 16th. Yeah, for me, I do think this is the best game in recent memory, actually. And I think, believe it or not, and we could go back and we could look at chat records, but from a gameplay perspective, I think the game has been trending in the right direction for the last 3 years or so, to tell the truth. Matt said last year's game was pretty decent. I think it was. I think that, was it last year where the running backs fell forward quite a bit? Or was
it was like 2
years ago. But last year's set feet lead was kind of like a game breaker more so than this year. And this year, while it feels like there's no abilities that completely wreck the game, there are some that make a difference. And I kind of like that, because superstars are still superstars. Like, the cream of the crop is still the cream of the crop, but there's not a whole lot of cream of the crop, I guess is what I'm saying. And I like the fact that you can run the ball, get 5 yards, but you're not falling forward for 9 yards after you get hit. And you can still throw interceptions if you have set feet lead. Stuff like that. Now, I think the issue with franchise mode the last 2-3 years has been, is this thing going to blip or not? Is the draft going to stop making picks mid-draft? What's is EA going to hit a button and screw us all up? That wasn't the case last year. That wasn't the case this year. Now, the franchise mode still isn't as deep, and if we're going to talk about that, that's a whole nother topic, and we haven't really seen much improvement there, and I don't know if we ever will. But to me, at the end of the day, if they can get the gameplay to where it's not frustrating, and if EA wants to put some of the arcadey stuff in college football, which it seems like they might be doing, and they make Madden a little more quote-unquote sim or realistic, a little more boring gameplay, I'm fine with that. There's always going to be, and let me say, they added the boom tech or boom stick or whatever, which was their kind of package selling point this year for marketing purposes, and that flopped hard. That was terrible. I think the animations look ragdollish, and you get a boomstick, and it doesn't really do much, it feels like at times. But overall, I'm content with the game. I would like to see, there's obviously improvements with quarterbacks. It feels like some bad quarterbacks can still be good and so on. But I'm like, if this game was repackaged next year and it was the same gameplay, I could play it again, honestly. I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
go ahead.
You made a good point. I do like that there aren't there is not like that overpowering ability. Yeah, inside stuff is good, but a halfback stretch is the best run in the games, and that counters it. Although my issue with halfback stretch is the pursuit angles are so bad. Your guys just either run into the line, and then the guy has a free outside run, or they over pursue, and then the guy running the stretch just turns it into a dive with the big hole in the middle. But I like that there's not a big, just like, set feet lead. When I had that as the Chargers and won the Super Bowl, it felt like I was playing a different game because we blipped in season 2, and I took I don't remember who I took, Steelers maybe, and I felt like I was playing a totally different game, but it was the same Madden. So I really like that. I would like to see the quarterbacks brought back down. I think that's the thing about the game that I'm thinking of. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, where bad quarterbacks were bad. I was using one. I know that, and this game, that's not so much the case.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. Good conversation. And this is one I was kind of thinking about as we move on to third down. We talk about the next big thing a lot, and it's kind of a troll job now at this point. And Meats, actually, I want to shout him out. He made like a next big thing rankings in the general content chat, which I thought he did a really good job on that. I'm not trolling when I ask this question. Could Stavo be the SML's next, like, top tier legend, like the next all-time great in the SML? When you think of all the legends in the SML and elite of elite, could he be that? Matt, what do you think?
I thought you were trolling when you asked this question. Look, Stavo, in my opinion, as far as all-time great, there's all-time great players and there's all-time great members, right? And sometimes you can be both. I think right now he's on track to be an all-time great member. He's kind of taken that Meats role of everybody kind of gangs up on him. He's got a little bit of a posse that kind of defends him. I think Soda and Alex maybe. But Stavo takes it in stride. He never gets overly aggressive. He can dish it. He can take it. Even when guys don't really, when you're making fun of someone or making jokes or trolling, you got to know when that line is, right? And we've had guys that don't know where that line is. And even when sometimes I'm like, okay, you guys have gone across the line, Stavo takes it in stride. So I think as a member, Stavo has become really, really good. He's a great asset to the chat. As far as playing the game, that's really premature. Look, he's in maybe the weakest conference we've ever had in my SML time. Take the maybe out. Edit. It is the weakest conference we've ever had in my SML time, which again, guys, that only goes back to Madden 21. Please don't DM me a bunch of death threats. He's in maybe the weakest division of all time. He could have won that division with 6 wins last season. And guess what? He's never going to lose a game in that division, and that's 6 wins. So I think Bomber mentioned that when I said that he could have won with 6 wins. He could have just beat his division and lost to everyone else and made the playoffs. I think he's got the talent. Obviously, we've seen it. His toughest game was Mike. He blew out KP. He blew out Alex. Dan was the toughest game. I'm just talking in the NFC. We knew the AFC game was going to be tough for him. But I need to see something different. I need him to go to the tougher conference, the tougher division next year. I need to see him go through the gauntlet of the guys like the two of you time after time. Just going through this weak NFC, I can't make him an all-time great. Yeah, you still have to win the games. I'm not trying to take away from that, but to be an all-time great, you've got to do what you guys have done: beat the best of the best, right? Whether the current and the previous. That's what makes you an all-time great.
Yeah, it's an interesting question because if Stavo didn't choke away his first Super Bowl, we're talking about Stavo being a back-to-back winner, beating both Prime and myself, which maybe puts him in a different category. But I think I think Matt makes some great points in what he says here. This reminds me a little bit of Faz's first run with the Vikings. I think he won two Lombardis that year, but he again had a kind of a weaker NFC, and he kind of lived off of Gunslinger. Stavo's kind of living off of free devs every season. His team is going to probably have 30 superstar X factors by the time we're done here, just because he can dev up his guys every play or every game, and we got to see what he does after this season. Faz after this went, eventually got to the Panthers and had a great run there. So I think Stavo could have a great cycle run, but all-time great, he's got to do it with a different team. He's got to do it where he's not running from competition. He's got to do it on a consistent basis. There's a lot more to it, but yeah, I mean, it's amazing to think, he both games, I mean, could have gone either way. He could be back-to-back champion, or he could be a two-time loser. So he's right on that edge right now. And I will say one other thing. We talked about the NFC. I think Prime mentioned about KP. Don't count KP out. I watched that game.
I'm counting him out.
KP had him completely locked down, and he just went blind on offense. If KP just doesn't turn the ball over, I think KP beats Stavo. I think KP knows how to beat him. He gave me a good blueprint, and I thought I did pretty well with it. But I don't think KP's out of this, so watch out for KP.
I'm sick of forking KP. He'll never win another playoff game in his SML career, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, maybe not that far, but I can't see him getting past Stavo this cycle, honestly. But we'll see. I believe he'll hit. I believe he'll be prepared to take him down. I don't think KP likes losing like how he did against Stavo.
He does.
You say he doesn't?
He doesn't know.
Okay, I thought so. Like that. Yeah, that's not KP. That wasn't the usual KP performance. Yeah. So for me, when I think about Stavo, obviously to be an all-time great, in my opinion, like, yes, you have to have a really high peak, but you have to do it over the course of time. The cool thing about Dan is, and why I honestly have him at my number 2 or 3 spot in SML rankings is because he's done it cycle over cycle, great abilities and no great abilities. He did it with Teddy Bridgewater. He's done it with, obviously the Steelers last cycle. And he's done it in some situations where, with the Broncos, I believe it was, where he's just 3-4 cycles in a row he's won, and he's won in different ways with different players and different talent. Obviously, I had Andrew Luck, and I like Frank George and Jacob Eason and Anthony Richardson. Like, you have to be able to do that if you're Stavo, to be lifted in that air. But do I think he could? I think he can. I think obviously he's not right now. But when I propose a question, could he be that? I see that in him, and here's why. He's in chat often. He's active in the league. He loves the league. He loves the game. This is the only game he plays. Similar to how I see myself. He doesn't have a whole lot of distractions, first and foremost. Then, when I watch him play, he doesn't just throw corners and out routes. Yeah, he has some tendencies. He likes the drags and he likes certain things, but he's willing to run the ball. And like Dan said, he's willing to play defense. He's got a good user. Nothing jumps off the page, really. But what he does do is all the little things. And to me, it's boring. It's not sexy, but that's what wins games. He's prepared. He can play a balanced game, and he can win in different ways. That is an all-time great player, because that translates in the playoffs. That translates against other great players. And if you love the game, if that's what you like to do, and if you're going to play your games actively, and if you're going to be in chat, and if you're going to do all the little things right, you're going to win a lot of games. Because everybody else, what they do, sometimes they jump on the bandwagon of, oh, inside zones are great, or, oh, stretches are great, and they focus on the quote-unquote meta. Well, the guys who can just kind of do a little bit of everything okay or above average, those are the guys to watch out for. And that's why I think Stavo could be punching his ticket as the next all-time great player in the SML.
That was a smart player. I give him credit for that. He makes
Smart.
adjustments. He does some things that, like you said, I do definitely see the little things in his game. Maybe this is a little challenge. Maybe this is a Kobe to the younger generation challenge out there. Stavo, just keep playing your game and reach that platitude of greatness. Don't settle for just being good.
And don't be tempted by the dark arts. Hey guys, let's spread the love. Dan, I guess you're gonna spread it on somebody. Who are you spreading it on?
Yeah, I want to spread my love on our new Chargers owner, Z-Man. Man, he gets his first SML win. He had a tough go taking over for a legend like Q, and kind of late in the season, just getting that team. And then I think he had, I think every game he played was against a playoff team, maybe but one. And then, he comes and now he plays a non-playoff team and meets and beats Meats. I won't tell the league what Z told me about Meats after the game. Whoa, baby! I didn't realize there was that tension between Z and Meats. But hey, congratulations, Z! Proud of you to get your first win. I think you love the league and you're going to keep be here for a while. So keep working at it, man.
Yeah, I was going to choose Z2 just because I like his attitude. He's always been in chat. Hey, it's tough, man. I'm just getting reps. Yep, I commentate, but hey, every loss, I'm getting reps, man. It's hard. It's hard up here, right? I haven't seen these guys before. Reps. I'm going to get better. I'm learning every play, as opposed to blaming the game and Jay Shu too. I played. Obviously, he's the Bengals owner, so I play him all the time. He hasn't beat me yet. We've played close games. We played blowouts, and every single time he talks to me, he never complains. Never brings up a single play. Doesn't bring up the pass rush or the lack of or whatever. He just says, "Good game." Darn, those couple of picks really hurt me. So hats off to them. Of course, I got to spread most of my love on a guy, Hall of Famer Mike FML. I think the most exciting thing of last season was is Mike going to make the playoffs? Look, I left it all out on the field against Woods to try and help Mike get in the playoffs. I beat Woods. I don't know if it really made a difference at the end, but really happy to see Mike in the playoffs. I know he's in an 0-2 hole, but I hope he gets back. And then Damon, who I think topic 3, could Stavo be the next SML all-time great? Damon is making a name for himself in a really tough AFC where, honestly, if you switch the roles, if you put Stavo where Damon is and put Damon where Stavo is, I think they're having the same cycle. I'm just saying.
Wow. That's an interesting one. Damon's a good guy. Damon's a great guy. I don't know if he cares about the game as much as Stavo does. It's like the Andrew Luck not care enough.
He doesn't have to. He's got someone in his house who cares.
Oh,
look, they run the same place. They both started running halfback zone week at the same time. They both run the dig return. It's like playing the same guy. But I'm telling you, if Damon was in the NFC with the Rams, I think he's got a playoff win for sure. I think he might even have a Super Bowl. I'm just saying.
That's good.
All I'm going to say is that Damon and I have never, ever shared plays or shared playbooks. So that's all I can say. We might talk about team building together, but we do not share playbooks. We do not share plays.
Okay, so he watches your games and steals them. Okay, that narrows it down.
Yeah, I got to spread my love on somebody, and I hope my love showers all over him. Meats, whatever I did to you, man, I knocked you out of the playoffs week 18. In a complete decimation, a complete blowout, utter annihilation, by the way. Meats lost to Z. Meats lost week 1, I think, and against Dan by 21 points, and he said the game was close, I think, or something crazy. Is that right, Dan?
Yeah, he was celebrating the fact he was down 24-0 and he came back.
And then he lost
it a 21-point game.
Yeah, that's bad. I broke Meats. And I want to apologize to Meats. And I want to say I love Meats, and I know he's gonna be a dad soon, and congratulate Meats for that. But I feel like I ended Meats' reign as a playoff contender in the SML, which kind of hurts. So I want to say I'm sorry, and I love you, Meats. Matt, if you could take us on to the Matt 5.
Yeah. Oh, this was tough because there's a few 2-0. I did this morning, so any games that have been played since I woke up and not counted for. But there's a lot of 2-0 teams, and a lot of them haven't played anybody. So I did my best here 2 games, not a big sample size. At number 5, I've got KP. Look, KP's a Sombardi winner. He's a very good player. He's always relevant. But if someone can stop the high ball, I don't know what else he's got. His offense doesn't blow me away, other than he's got the ultimate bailout in Craver and the high ball, which is a great bailout. But if someone knows how to stop it, like someone like a Stavo, maybe, I don't know if he did or he didn't, but someone who cares about the game figures out how to stop it, he's going to have to beat him in other ways. I'm not sure he has it in the toolbox. Soda's got the best resume so far. And I think he came into the SML a little touted. Like, I think people thought he was, I think didn't he make a primary Super Bowl? I don't know. Maybe but he hasn't done anything.
He made a Super Bowl here, Matt.
Oh yeah, Remember? He did. I even forgot about that. Jeez, see,
Q beat him. Yep.
Yeah, he fell off so far. I forgot about that. Most probably people don't even know I made a Super Bowl this cycle, but won one as well. But best resume so far. He beat Damon, and then help me out, guys. I had it pulled up here. He smoked Damon, and he beat somebody else too. I'm pulling it up here. This is poor preparation here. Oh, Tug, who I actually think Tug's a good player. So good, best resume so far. Need to see a little bit more. He's Mr. Inconsistent. He's consistent at being inconsistent. I'll say that. Number 3, I've got Prime. Again, Prime's always going to be on the list when you're talking about early season because past performance, you always got to weigh that a little bit. But really, you've played 2 NFC West opponents. Heard you were a little bit excited about that in the draft chat. That's the rumor. I wasn't in there. But hey, it's Prime. We all know that's going to go. Dan at number 2, look, kind of the same boat. Dan hasn't really played anyone. Let me see who he played. He played Jay-Shu, although Jay-Shu's actually on the cusp of being good. And that was a close game, and we talked about Meats, who's a broken man. He flooded him. Oh, sorry. He only beat him by 21. And then at number 1, I've got Stavo, who, again, hasn't played anyone. I think he's also played only his division, so he's like 33% of the way clinched. But hey, he's the reigning champ. He beat Dan in the Super Bowl. He won 3 games in the NFC. He had to do it the hard way. He didn't have the bye. So Stavo is my number 1 until somebody beats him. And so we'll see how that goes.
Great list. That's
good list.
Yep. Guys, that was Matt and the Matt 5. That's Dan He. And I'm Primetime 000. We appreciate you listening, watching SML Total Access. And until next time, I hope you guys have a great day.